pay for nurses, they may also increase as well to keep competitive. So that kind of talks about what a lot of you might be familiar with, which is your staff nurse salary, and your entire pay is totally taxed. So now we're going to talk about the hard part, travel nurse pay. So we've already covered the bill rate and that is what the hospital offers. We already know that the pay package is a portion of that bill rate. So your pay package has two different parts. So you have your taxed portion, which is similar to the staff nurses. That's your hourly rate and your overtime rate. And then you have your tax-free portion, which consists of your stipends. So typical stipends include a travel stipend, a housing stipend, and a meals and incidental stipend. Those are all tax-free, and those are set amounts by the government. As travel nurses, we have always tried to maximize our tax-free part of our pay package. So we want to get the maxes allowed legally for that area, and we are okay with taking a lower hourly tax rate because that money doesn't go in our pocket anyways. And so your recruiters have your pay package. They know how much they're allowed to give you a week. How they give you that money can be manipulated so they can give you higher hourly rates if you would rather have a higher tax income and lower stipends. But we, like I said, like to maximize the tax-free money because that goes straight in your pocket. The government does not touch that. And then we take the lower taxed hourly income and try to balance it that way. So our taxes are way lower than they ever were as a staff nurse because we might look like we're making $10 less an hour than we used to make as staff. When you're told the hourly rate as a travel nurse, it's typically much lower than you're used to as a staff nurse. The key to travel nursing pay packages is to take the lowest taxable rate and to maximize your tax-free stipends. You want that money in your pocket. So it's not uncommon for a travel nurse's hourly rate to be $18, where that might be shocking to some of you, but we make our money in the stipends. Now, this is pre-pandemic because right now we're seeing hourly rates, 80 an hour, 100 an hour, and that's all the tax portion, and you're still getting your maximum stipends allowed for that area. All right, thanks for bearing with me. We're almost done with the pay package explanation. It's a lot of information. It's difficult information, and it can be super confusing, but we do have to cover just a couple more areas. I want to give you some resources that will help you, and I want to go over a couple more terms that you might hear and give you some tips to what you want to see in a pay package and what you want to ask for in a pay package. Two terms you may come across when reviewing pay packages is your gross pay and your net pay. So your gross pay is the max amount you make, but that is before taxes come out. So when you're seeing these jobs that are promising you $7,000 a week, you are not going to take home $7,000 a week. You might take home $5,000 a week or $6 something. It's still a ton of money, but that is the gross pay. That is pre-tax. When it comes down to taxes, you have to consider federal income tax, you have to consider state income tax, and it will be your home state that you have your permanent residence in and the state that you're working in. So 2 different state taxes are typically removed unless it's one of the states that do not have income tax, such as Florida and Texas, 2 places that we worked and we only had to pay West Virginia tax to. The other term is net pay, and that is your after-tax pay. That is what we typically like to ask for and like to see because that's the money you're going to take home at the end of the day. So some recruiters can give you the estimated net pay, but like we said, it is estimated. So they will typically add on like a 20% or a 25% tax and give you their calculation. But there are a couple resources that we use. We will link them in swipe ups. You can put in the states that you're working in and it'll give you a calculation, and then you put how you file. So we use that, and it's usually pretty close to what we actually end up making. So that's a great resource. Another resource we have is where you can look at the maximum allowed per diems for your area. So they are based off of the location that you're working in and the time of year. And so you know that you're not getting way less or way more than your. Another key tip is to make sure you're never taking home more stipends than you're legally allowed to. Of course, you want to make the most you can, and if a recruiter is offering you like $500 more a week than you're legally allowed, that's not good, because if you ever do get audited, you will have to pay that back, because like I said, the government sets the maximums that you're allowed to get. And of course, yeah, you want that competitive pay package that's making $500 more a week or $1,000 more a week, but you're putting yourself at risk from getting audited and owing all of that money back at the end of the day. Well, I think that pretty much covers the pay package breakdown, how travel nurses actually get paid, the two portions, the tax and the tax-free. If you have any other questions about that, just please shoot me a DM, because I know it can be super confusing.